Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only Master Propaganda, Hero of Sight, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to a 1v1 on Bayeux, and these is Mirassol, fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Here with the 7th Panzer Division here with mechanized mobile defense and Luftwaffe supply in the west. It is Makros fighting for the Red Army, the Soviet Union coming at Stalin here, and the 12th Tank Corps with defensive guard rifle and mechanized support. It got named for 2 versus W near country start. And a big hearty thanks to my Patreon supporters. Without them and the support, the Propagandacast would not be able to keep doing what it does. So big thanks to all those other people enjoying the ranks by Patreon. They can donate via PayPal. Links in the description. And if you're in the market for peoning companies free, you can do so via the link in the comments. Use the CoH2 for ideas written there, and I get a nice cut of the sale. Oh, comment, like, share, subscribe, press the bell button. So, gonna do MD42 versus double conscript, double engineers. Mechanized here for Mirassol with the command tank 250-1 half-track. Vehicle critical repair, spotting scopes, and the leichte Feldhaubitz artillery. Gonna do something out there. We got Pioneers placed in the south as well. Interesting opening here for Mirassol, by the way. I mean, typically this side here goes for the northern field point, but now instead he's switching towards the southern field point, which I'd say is an interesting, very different opening here from the eastern plain, particularly as the Wehrmacht is typically more aggressive, which is not exactly always what the Wehrmacht really early game can handle well, though. Theoretically, with the right commanders, it can do, but still, this is nonetheless interesting. Instead of going for the easy fuel point north again, he's going to go for the much more harder to grab fuel point in the south, it would appear, though. Now he's sending the machine gun northwards there. Second is almost done, but still very unusual. Samex here, of course, Makros, of course, ready to defend the southern fuel point from any fascist incursions. Up north here, of course, 74 engineers here. Makros probably wondering what the hell is going on here when there's like no Germans on, like arriving a bit late, like, school teachers a bit delayed. Oh, sorry, Klaus. Anyways, 3rd conscript there for Makros on the Red Army. Engineers under fire from the MG42. We got the Pioneers Moon Torture Center. We got the Gunneers Group base in the south here. Also Moon Torture Center now here. Really odd opening here from Mirassol in terms of capping order. I mean, build order, it's pretty standard. It's more like the way the, order of capturing points. That's definitely the very unusual one here from Mirassol. So he's going to grab the northern fuel point. Now, he will be a bit behind the fuel there, though, of course, he would... Well, he's not even quite ahead on munitions either, so... Southern forces, they're routed. Heading northwards from the machine gun and the grenadiers there. Could see some tech here soon for Mirassol in theory, except again, because they didn't go for that fuel point sooner. His tech is acted late, and I was going to lose those southern points he moved in there for anyway. So, again, rather odd one there. I have no idea what exactly was the plan there for Mirassol. No idea. Oh wait, so Pop and Company going out for Makros and the Red Army. More sandbags. Thorough sandbagging here for Makros, by the way. Thorough and barbed wire here. Moving in from the north now, in constant on the flank here could cause some problems with Mirassol if they aren't dealt with swiftly. Flamethrowers up there for him. 4th Gunneers Squad for Mirassol. Engineers sending out. Out north here, we've got the cons flying around behind the Gunneers, then 42 here. Could be a problem there for Mirassol, of course, not dealt with swiftly, in particular troops on other flanks. We've got S-mines here to try and cover against the push up here. Not a bad idea, just not what you typically see from a lot of players. Puts the spur on minesweepers here from Makros to help deal, of course, with any further mines here from Mirassol and the 7th Panzer Division. Conscripts moving up here, engineers taking man losses, though, of course, conscripts can quickly merge with them to sort that out. 4th Gunneer Squad ready to take on the way there now for Mirassol. There we go, quick merge here. Conscript up, promoted to engineer. And my mother said I'd never amount to anything. Gunneers, they can't quite rifle grenade. He might lose the Gunneer Squad. That's going to be painful for their mines being cleared out here. Forcing now to, of course, divert attention to this southern flank here by Makros. Good move by the Makros. Definitely catches Mirassol a bit off guard here. Gunneers routed. Machine gun is finally up. There's a lot of heavy cover, which is going to make it hard here to deal with the troops. There you go. Suppressed 1 squad anyways, because Yuri stuck his fat head a bit up too fast here. Tech almost done. Engineers and conscripts routed here. Grab northern point there with the Grenadier. Some rather fierce fighting here. You could try and toss in a 250 half-track round versus Makros. Get a bit more mechanized. A bit swifter on foot here versus this socialist opponent. Probably won't, but it is a consideration, I think, here for Mirassol. As for Makros, no real sign of what he's planning so far. Commander-wise, though, the build it has gone for that indicates either guard rifle or mechanized support for some guards rifle infantry. So typically that's the sort of build you see if they're going to, like, you know, call in at least a guard squad here. Heading towards the center there, and the south now, another forceful push here by Mirassol and the German army. No tech yet, as there is no light mechanized company. Could go for the 250 half-track now. Hard to say the world, though. Most Wehrmacht players, if they go for mechanized, sadly never bother with the 250-1 half-track. Tragically so. Got a machine gun up there for some of the grenadiers further south here. Points being seized rapidly for Deutschland. Though, of course, the entire north front is once more exposed, and Makros is quick to pile on that. Got the tech there from the tank will be tank command up in the space there. So, T-70 anti-aircraft tactic, of course, is another big question. Which of these two will Makros commit to? Bunker down there for Mirassol. Medics on the way. Southern points ceased for das Vaterland. Car point being hit, of course, forcing Mirassol to counterattack to deal with that. But that said, he's obviously not keen on just rushing into gunfire there from the conscript, so he is willing to let the point be rendered neutral for now. Like the mechanized company, engineers flanking the grenadiers here, though of course there's still the S-mines there. The Mites engineers apparently got a bit busy with other things. And there you go, Makros does go for guard motor. Not guard motor, guard rifle, blah. I'm so used to guard motor that whenever guard rifle appears, my mind just apparently substitutes guard motor. But no, K1s, guard rifle infantry, advanced fortifications, howitzer, and a Sturmix rifleman. Advanced fortifications, what does that mean, Dimitri? It means you add gun on top of sandbags. Oh, that is advanced. 2-2 there on the way for Mirassol, halfway done. Guardsman out here, so that probably is a T-7 then from Makros, since that is munitions that could always go on for a anti-aircraft mount on this half-track, unless he's planning to, you know, follow in Angreif's steps and go for some mechanized guardsmen. Probably won't, though, but he could do that. Could do that. Oh, wait, 2-2 out there for Mirassol in the 7th Panzer Division. His battalion set everything nearest for flamethrowers, of course the conscripts ready to back them up. Mines from units as well, they're just in case, I don't know, surprise mines here for Mirassol. North here, counterattacking to force away Makros from northern Fuelpan, and the south here, fresh pressure with the guard in there. Grenadier is definitely a bit outgunned against the 6-man squad with anti-tank rifles and DP light machine guns, and of course access to grenades. And boom, almost getting wiped here on Mirassol and the 7th Panzer Division, 2nd Panzer Grenadier Company. We got the T-7 light tank there on the way for Makros. Very much as expected, of course. North here points being seized by Mirassol once more. He's being hammered here by a rather impressive plethora of firepower there. And he's reinforcing healing. No tech yet. They're obviously short on fuel. Makros T-7 light tank right around the corner here. I imagine we're seeing a spotting scopes for the armoured car eventually. North there. Good pressure from Mirassol and the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Company of the 7th Panzer Division. Troops sending out from the base. Here's comes in the T-70. Mirassol certainly very rapidly expanding influence and control the map here versus Makros. Now Makros is, of course, ready to counterattack here. The question, of course, where will he strike? We also have Pack 40 up deal with the T-70. Obviously, the sensible choice to do unless he wants to go for like a lot of armoured cars, or just hope he can get out of Stug fast enough, which seems pretty unlikely under current circumstances. Around the southern point T, centres being rendered neutral. We got 428 versus 455. Further south, the armoured car with gunnery support looking to reclaim that victory point here from Makros. No grenades research for Makros. They can't say just chuck a Molotov there and force the grenadiers out here. T-70 almost getting Pantherfaust there, but he is nearly able to avoid 8 Pantherfausts light tank. Combining their grenadiers, pushing them back in the south here, constantly molded up with the armoured car and the grenadiers. Troops setting out there for Mirassol. No tag yet. But he's getting close to being able to tag up. Needs to move forwards here. Makros here could of course consider field gun, he also consider mortar, max machine guns. Another option of course be a 2nd guards rifle into squad, pushing up to 5 squads, but also crucially just more guardsmen, which could exert a lot more pressure here on Mirassol on his front lines. But so far, no sign of that here from Makros. Just steady pressure across the entire front line, trying to keep Mirassol in check, while of course exploiting any gaps in the front lines. All fighting here now coming up right on the edge there of Mirassol's base. Looks like Makros has been able to force him into that position, meaning that all the fuel point is now exposed again here to a push by Makros. Field gun ready. This is 3 Division Field Gun Guard pushing 40 into a throng of Grenadiers, and of course the armoured car, but with backup from the T-7 and the Pack 40 being pushed back. This is not an engagement that's looking great for Mirassol. At this rate, he risks his entire force being pushed in the base. There you go, Rifle Grenade and Grenade exchange here. Guards almost knocked, T-7 almost knocked as well here. Makros ended up actually extending here, no committing versus Mirassol. Was close though. Gonna go for the carve point first, that way you can of course deny fuel immediately, and then we're going to grab the fuel point afterwards. Grenades there finally for Makros, Molotovs and anti-tank grenades. Mirassol, of course, this stage could soon consider taking up here versus Mirassol. I mean, versus Makros, not versus himself. You typically don't take up against yourself. There you go, grenades ready for Makros. That's Molotovs and anti-tank grenades for the conscripts. T-70 there, snacking a shot on the Grenadiers, perhaps. Oh, wait, someone died. Armoured car could, of course, do some repairs. And I mean, something else to consider for both sides would be a mortar. Some light artillery support could do, I think, both players a great deal of good here. In particular, I think Makros could do that to help sort of soften up and frustrate here Mirassol's defense around the center. Arguably, Mirassol could, of course, benefit from it as well. Mirassol, though, is now taking up there. Next tier on the way. Makros still got a bit more to go before he can really reach that point. Molotov loved off. We do actually get a mortar from Mirassol. Thumbs up. A Grenadier on the way. An excellent addition. We'll have to see if Makros follows in his footsteps. Or he's just gonna, eventually go for Katusha. As some players are fond of. And there, got armor cover, the damaged engine from an anti-tank grenade. Got the Grenadier 34 ready here. Fun fact about the mortar, while we'd consider by now a medium mortar, at the start of the war, the Germans had to consider that a heavy mortar. There's a little fun fact there. He's flanking the machine gun there. He's pushing forward back up the guardsman here. Field gun setting up here. Good shot on the 2-2. T-Sing flying around here. Supporting the Grenadiers, or conscript against the Grenadiers here. Once we see Mirassol being forced in a slightly awkward position there. His armored car does get knocked out. Good kill here for Makros. Removes a valuable motorized asset. Plus the Grenadier squad has also been wiped out. Those are fairly significant losses here. Mirassol certainly helps Makros out a fair bit. Of course, he still risks being on the receiving end of some armor if he's not careful. Mines exploding. So will Makros take up? What will he do? You can see the Mirassol is replacing the lost Grenadier squad there. Showing the importance of having a sufficient number of infantry squads. Thumbs up there. We have a fresh Grenadier squad. There you go. So Palmer got there for Mirassol and the German army. Still caught here by a lot of Grenadiers with a mix of rifles and machine guns. In the south centre here, west centre, conscripts back with him for 2 T-Sin flanking around here. On the machine gun team there with its 45mm gun. Is clearly lining up here for the Mechanized Armor Company, and there you go. I would not be surprised to see a T-54 some 6 first, then maybe a K1 here. Mines here being laid down the Makros as well that help slow down any advance by Mirassol and frustrate his movements. Or maybe just land a really good mine that just kills numerous Grenadiers. These are the Grenadiers here backed up a few conscripts. The Grenadiers can't easily close in without taking a lot of damage. Center there we got Guardsmen up, backed up the Engineers, conscript. They could try and pressure a bit in the south, grab the missions pointing in that here to Mirassol. Meanwhile, this is almost done, at which point he can also upgrade his conscripts there with the Mobilized Reserves ability. Mortar on the Guardsmen, there we go. Mechanized Armor Company done. Got the strafing run ready. Good shot from the Pack 4 there in the T-Sun light tank. Guessing Mirassol here is planning a Panzer IV versus Makros. Could be a command tank, but more likely just going to be the regular Panzer IV. Conscripts dispatched up north here. South here we got Makros creeping about there. T-70 almost fixed up again. Makros closing in that T-34 from 6th. Of course, it is not impossible he's in fact going to go for the K1, but there we go. Panther 4 there on the way from Mirassol, and the 7th Panzer Division. We've got Makros conscripts rushing in there. Mobilized reserves upgrade also on the way there for some of the squads. Though Max is keeping some of them open so he can still have access to his abilities. Season roaming about here. Panther 4 there, 2/3 of the way done, and we do get the T-34 and 6 for Makros. There's just a possibility he might be going for the K1 instead, but in the end, he does go for the T-70, or not, the T-34 and 6 medium tank. Pack 40 moving in there, up north in Gate Grenadiers at close range. Panther fast obviously going to happen there. Pack moving in there, but at the same time, the way Mirassol's rushing in there could cost them the pack, and it could even, in an even worse case scenario, end up in the hands of Makros, and that looks to be exactly what's going to happen here. Unless he's intending to blow it out instead. I mean, he needs to make up his mind if he's going to grab it and destroy it soon. Got the Panther 4 rushing in, the T-34 6 almost done. Guard squad arriving here, and there you go. He's not going to destroy it instead of trying to grab it. I mean, a 6-man pack crew, pack gun would have been pretty solid of an investment here for Makros. Ooh, guard squad wiped out. That's a great kill there for Mirassol. I mean, that's just the fairly elite infantry squad just utterly annihilated. He did lose the pack 40, but he then could clear out the film crew and turn it to his own purpose. Of course, that'd still be great for Mirassol. But there you go. T-34 rushing in here, engaging the Panther 4 shot bounces. Pretty lucky there for Mirassol. Second shot that goes through. There you go. Penetrating head here. Anti-tank as well here. Filgun could now possibly assist from the T-34 from 6 take up Mirassol's Panther 4. But no, the infantry is blocking off any pursuit here. At least swift pursuit. Of course, as he sees the gun is moving, he might try and push ahead anyways, try and finish off that Panther 4. Filgun needs to get pulled back for reinforcements and such. Yeah, the Grenadiers and such here are making it harder here for Makros' T-34 to close on the Panther 4 easily. Got the Pioneers with the picked up DP light machine guns for the otherwise annihilated guard squad. Could go for another one soon though. At this stage, I'm kind of expecting, of course, Makros just go for that good old-fashioned search strategy, which is just turn out a near infinite number of T-34s from the 6s. Reinforcing, more machine guns being added there to Mirassol's Grenadier. More to there so far, with no kills, but this half-8 veterans one is certainly adding some pressure there to Mirassol. Yeah, there we go, another T-34 from 60 for Makros. I would not be surprised in actually not seeing a KV-1 heavy tank here from him, because then he's just going to keep churning up T-34 from 6s. South here counters the Grenadiers, then Molotov burning through Otto. Friedrich there hits a mine. Panther 4 almost good to go here for Mirassol in the 7th Panzer Division. Most there gaining almost veterans 1. They're routed by the Maschinengewehr 42. And the south here, men of the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Company are looking to want more flank round for the south. Could try and go for the fuel point perhaps even. Meanwhile for Makros, the T-34 from 6 is almost done here. Pushing back the Panther 4 there. Go. T-34 there arrives. Grab some pump with the Grenadiers. Adding the spotting scopes of the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Which I think is sort of really like the first time we've actually made use of the commander. I mean, we haven't seen a vehicle critical repair much of it all. The howitzers, obviously no half-tracks, and certainly no command tank either, so... And so far, it's just the spotting scope, and I think most players just basically half the time go for the spotting scopes and the vehicle critical repair ability, and maybe occasionally use some of the other stuff. And he's ready by the T-34 from 6, though. Charging in there, we got a Sturmgeschütz Ausführung here for Mirassol. Thumbs up. It's going to be a nice handy tool against these T-34 from 6s, and also add a bit of pressure to the infantry if he remembers to upgrade them with the Pendel-mounted Maschinengewehren. But up north, they're points east by the conscripts, southern points east by the conscripts as well. Stug halfway done here for Mirassol and for Deutschland. Filling holding up here. Geschütz 2/3 of the way done. Roaming about here, field gun almost done for Makros. Cantering southward, back to field grenadiers. Charging in for Deutschland, a large push here by Mirassol. Great shot on the conscripts. There goes Sturmgeschütz Ausflank out. Panton towards the center, we got the grenadiers engaging. Hacksaws at the ready here, feeling the incendiaries ready on the Soviet side. Mortar there, gaining veterans who won. Still no kills though. He's not really using the barrage ability a lot there, so it's just mostly like, you know, a few lucky hits here and there. As they are less effective when they're just auto-firing without a barrage order. Thyssen strike up north, exploding here. Mirassol's hard swing south there. Makros zooms into the north then, sees a lot of terrain there easily. Definitely been oversight here by Mirassol's rushing in the Stug, perhaps push back the T-70, though he will still need infantry support. He's at least added a machine gun to the Panther 4 and would certainly benefit from one of the Stug as well. But also benefit from supporting the Stug with some infantry. Different bit risky to send the Stug in like that, fairly blindly. Got very lucky there that the field gun missed the Stug like that. That was rather close. But there you go. Panther 4 rushing in against the field in the south there. Looks like it's Makros time to leave a bit of a gap open. Strafing run going in there, mostly in the Panther 4. But there you go. Nope, misses the infantry, and the Panther 4 is down. Huge blow here. Underestimated Makros' response here. Panther fast off. Stug could rush in from the north, but the situation's looking a bit messy here, and the Stug's pathing is going completely haywire there. As it's ended up briefly moonwalking there. Or moon driving, I guess. Field gun setting up here. Stug moving forwards. Oh dear, not ready for Mirassol. Ja, scheiße. Adding the spawning scripts to get hit with anti-tank grenades and a field gun. The Stug is getting spanked. That was definitely a tactically awkward situation for Mirassol that Makros was able to richly exploit here, and suddenly Mirassol's situation got a lot worse. I mean, his opponent has 2 tanks and light tank, and all he's got is, like, you know, Stug, which is certainly not bad, but, like, you know, he's lost a Panther 4 and his Stug is about to get knocked out, so the odds are very much against Mirassol here. Greatly. Now the T-34 for Makros, of course, building upon his arm advantage. Very sensibly, of course. This could definitely force Mirassol to have to go for more Stugs. And there you go, fixing up the first Sturmgeschütz of his. Heading for the northern field point. He does control the victory point still, and that might be an oversight, but Makros not doing more to grab those. Could arguably an oversight in the south here. Grenadiers on watch here with the MD-42. All them points being seized. Stug almost done. Another pack 40 for Mirassol. So I'm guessing he's not going to go for another Stug. Tragically. T-34 some 6 they're almost done for Makros. Grenadiers routed here. Poor Ulrich. Blown to bits here by the T-34 some 6. Armored carpering percent. No, he does go for 6 Stugs. He's going for 2 packs and 2 Stugs. That's a lot of anti-tank fire for sure. I mean, that's going to rip some T-34s apart for sure. That will absolutely rip them apart. Also adding the Pinnaman machine gun to the Sturmgeschütz. Thumbs up to that. South you got the packs moving up. Typically, most panzer divisions would roughly, after the loss of Stalingrad, and I think up to like roughly mid-1944, basically have, after loss of Stalingrad and also Tunisia and like Africa, basically most panzer divisions lost a battalion of panzers. Like technically at the start of the war, to a certain point again, they had 3, but after those losses, they lost a panzer battalion to help, you know, ensure everyone got enough panzers. But in to sort of compensate for that, a lot of the panzer divisions, if not most of them, received them as Stug battalions, sort of unofficially as the 3rd Panzer Battalion. Sort of a little fun note there. T-70 rolling forward here, we got the T-4 strike up north here. Stug firing at the T-70. There we go, T-70 knocked out here, being caught in a deadly crossfire by anti-tank fire. The packs being situated down here south is an interesting setup there by Mirassol. And it does manage to sort of bait Makros' tanks into kill zone he's not aware of. Now we also got the Stuke tank from the sides. There you go, another tank down, this time a T-34 from 6, a bit more explosive. We got the field moving in here, getting a bit more spicy. Need to deal with this field, of course. Up north, going to need Mortals, a bit of a hot spot there. Really chaotic engagement at this point. I mean, Makros, I imagine, was just blindsided by the packs being down there, which they normally aren't. And of course, all the Stukes, and there you go, T-34 abandoned. And crucially, he hasn't really, like, gained any victory points, so he's technically still bleeding out despite, a otherwise fierce engagement. Both Stukes survived that. None of the T-34s, but there you go. Film going in here. They're still pushing forward there for the Red Army. Could take out one here of Mirassol Sturmgeschütze. Hack's about to get wiped out. In fact, one did get wiped out. He grabbed that and turned against Mirassol. If he wanted to, or if he can find the time for it. But instead, he's going to have to haul out the field guns, leaving the pack for it to be grabbed. We got Makros here with the Katyusha rocket launcher now. Yeah, he's regretting not going for a mortar. Now, Stuke's going to need some repairs. See if Film's being hauled out here. That was a rather messy engagement there for sure. And one I imagine again was just like Makros thinking, okay, I got this. And then suddenly, wait, what's going on? That was pretty effective. That said, he did get a gun to the escort, right? Yeah. Less great is the fact that the T-34 sometimes got a band here for Mirassol to grab and turn against Makros. Plus, get those victory points either. Although Katyusha almost done it for Makros. Stukes there. Of course, don't need repairs, but unsurprisingly, he's prioritizing getting that T-34 from 6 into order. They're up north, going to use single flare mines, taking losses, but they're grabbing points back there for Deutschland. Fixing up that T-34 there. The Germans, of course, as mentioned, doing previous efforts to capture a lot of them. But interesting enough, at any point in time, the Germans never had more than, I think, like 300 Soviet tanks or vehicles under their control at any one point in time. Of course, that still means they got a lot, but, they never really had more than 300 at any time. Occasionally, they would, have some really big scores, like one point, I think, in 1943, I think it was the 3rd SS Panzerdivision Turmkopf that managed to, capture an entire T-34 repair workshop, and was just able to put a lot of tanks into working order, that way form up an entire, tank company with T-34s. Mortar fire there. But they've been hit back with the Katyusha machine, lots of force right. There we go, mortar wiped again. Will Makros this time try and grab it, increasing his artillery numbers here versus Mirassol, or will he ignore it? Hard to say, the T-34 from 6 is almost good to go for Mirassol. Eine Beuterpanzer, which the Germans did operate a lot, not just from the Soviets. There we go. T-34 looks like good for the Germans. North, we got contact with the Grenadiers there. Field gun selling back here. Katyusha at the ready. Finally grab some victory points here and there from Mirassol. And definitely not your average Wehrmacht armored force with the T-34 backed up by 2 Stugs. Field guns at the ready. Maxim on the way there for Makros. Machine gun there versus the conscripts. Didn't grab the mortar there. Stugs charging in there for Deutschland. Blazing ahead for the Reich. Crushing cover and of course firing at the conscript with the machine gun and of course threatening to run them over as well. T-34 rushing in here. There's a lot of fire here versus Makros' forces. A lot of firepower. Field is moving in to try and deal with this southern German armoured assault here. Pushing back the T-34 from 6. Machine gun almost wiped out. Katyusha is safely pulled to a more safe position. In case the Germans go for a breakthrough push of the shoots in the T-34 from 6. Smart thinking there by Makros. North here comes around the Grenadiers. They almost got a northern point. We got a flak panzer of Mirassol here. Interesting choice here. Interesting. I don't think should go for a command tank. So that way, help keep his armor better alive. Plus deploy smoke, can mark targets. It's really handy there in terms of raw utility. That's not to say the Ostwind isn't good. It's quite solid, I think. But, when you have, something with a command tank, I feel like you should go for it. Comes around the Grenadiers there. Go, film shot right through the Stuke's frontal armor. Second shot goes through with these as well. And there you go. Flak panzer out here for Mirassol. Giving him quite the armored force in comparison. Makros has got nothing. I think at this point he's actually going for the K1 there, though arguably he should have probably gone for this sooner rather than later. But that might just be me. That might just be me. But I mean, anyways, he can't go for it now. You just need to figure out what he wants to go for. Maybe he was actually planning an initiative 5. Don't know, but I think a decision on that one soon would be a pretty snazzy idea. And there you go. He does go for the K1 heavy tank here, the Clement Borishlov 1 heavy tank. So named after the, at that point, Commissar of Armaments. He would be later replaced by Joseph Stalin. At which point, they changed the name to the Joseph Stalin series of tanks. Fun fact. Anyways, maximum bombard here with Grenadiers Flak Panzer Stug charging in and cause the German T-34 from 6. After they're being ripped apart here, we got strafing running in against the German infantry, trying to stop it up, but it's not working. Stug hits a mine in front of the field guns, but the T-34's on the move, making hard here for Makros of his field guns. Flak Panzer rushing in here, and there you go, another mine the Stug. The Stug just took 2 mine hits before getting knocked out by field gun. T-34, then Flak Panzer's rushing in here, outmaneuvering the field guns. K1 is almost done, but for Makros, it's just going to happen too late, possibly here. The rest of his forces are taking him down to the Flak Panzers, getting pelted with anti-tank grenades. Stug charging in there, machine geweers blazing at the Russians. Katyusha fire. I don't know, it's firing out the grenades and the pioneers of the car plant. He almost got one of the field crews here. Stug close to 22. K1 has finally arrived here. Field crew's about to get wiped out. Firing at point blank range in the field and gaining 22. T-34 about to get knocked out here. K1 rolling out there for Makros and the Red Army. There we go. Mine here on the T-34 from 6. So many mines up north there from Makros. Surprisingly enough, not many in the south. Stug there. Oh dear. Awkward pathing. Wreck the field gun, but he's about to lose the Stug. Not the Stug. Should load a heat shell here. Probably won't. Any more troops here being murdered out. We got a machine gun in the firing away, but is pinned down. Stug gained 2 shots and added. Shot bounced. Penetrating hit here. We got the packs being hauled forwards. K1 misses the Sturmgeschütz. And we got incendiary pierce rounds in the Aisler machine gun. Won't do anything against the K1, but certainly infantry nearby it will certainly regret being close to it. Almost got the K1 there we go. Pack finishes off here. And there we go. I think with that it may just be GG here. I think Makros has dropped out of the match. We're just waiting for the game to react him dropping out. Now that was certainly an unusual match to some degree. Yeah, I think at Makros' mind more in the south here as well. This could have probably been a lot more different of a match, or sort of moment in the match here. Breaking the field guns, just in case Makros hasn't left the match here, of course. Thorough play there by Mirassol. Thorough. Yeah, he's, you know, clearly gone on holiday in Siberia in a gulag. So there you go, GG, game over. Some fierce back and forth action here, some interesting action. I do feel like Makros probably could have gone for some more guards on an early mortar, but also been a great addition here. Again, I feel like in these regards, operationally, Makros didn't quite, I think, leverage his advantage as well as he could have. And tactically, there were also some issues which allowed Mirassol, I think, to steadily turn the game around through the power of the Stug. And of course, just that surprise set of pack forwards again. I really suspect he was just not ready for the packs being at that angle. That was just a complete, like, just, wait, what? And he just, like, you know, couldn't deal with that in time. And again, just didn't have any smoke, so for example, just immediately, like, shut them down. So again, smoke can be a really handy tool. So, either way, I hope you enjoyed this match. I learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell a friend, tell a family, but don't your enemies. This is Imperial LinkedIn. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.